Hey guys, Goggsy here and welcome to episode 4 of the Gog Pod. Today we've been joined by the big show, Marvin Bartley. How you doing, man?
I'm very well, mate. I'm very well. Yourself?
Oh, I'm absolutely splendid. Great to have you on today. For those who are not aware of Marvin's work, he's played for the likes of Bournemouth, Hibs, Burnley, and he's currently at Livingston. And he also does a wee bit of stuff on the side for the BBC, hence why I'm dressed up. Yeah.
Oh, you're the part.
So how is everything going right now? Of course, you've just recently come back into sort of full contact training. How is it for you?
Oh, it's been brilliant. Missed it massively. You know, obviously, I think the last time we trained together was the end of March. So like being back in around the lads again. You know, having a banter and stuff in the change room, and like you said, just getting some full contact training. And you know, we've all had enough of the 5K and 10K runs. Let's get back to doing what we're paid to do. So, yeah, it's been good. It's been good. My touch has been a bit off. You won't be surprised at that. But no, I'm buzzing to be back.
Of course, just like anyone coming back to play football, you're always just a wee bit off, and you're not as good as you used to be. But I'm sure you'll get back to the levels you were at.
Well, I'm hoping so, mate. I'm getting old now, so who knows? This might be the new me.
Oh, that's right. We've both had birthdays in the last week.
Yeah.
Did you do anything special for yours?
No, I did a 10K run with football. That was the only day we didn't have the ball out. So since we've been back, we've not had the ball out one day, and that was on my birthday. We did a 10K run and some stair runs and stuff. So it was a nice birthday present. What about yourself?
For my 21st, I had a socially distanced barbecue with some of the lads, yeah, that's pretty much it. Of course, there's not really any pubs to go watch the football in right now, so
yeah.
I mean,
well, get down to England, mate. The pubs are open there.
Oh, aye, absolutely. Well,
get across the border.
I lived in England for 4 months over the last year because I was at uni there, so. It was very different to life in Scotland, I'll tell you that for one thing.
Yeah, tell me about it.
How do you feel about the new fixtures that have been released?
Brilliant. You know, never before have I had really a buzz around fixtures. You know, but this season feels a bit different, or this, you know, fixture release feels a bit different, as I said, because there's been the break. You know, everyone just wants to know when we play in 1st of August, perfect who we play in. And now for us it's St Mirren, you know, and the next thing I look at is when we play in Hibs, and it's the second game. I didn't have to look too far.
Oh yeah.
So there's a massive buzz around it, definitely, and everyone just wants to get that first game out of the way now.
And we have used 3rd game.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, hopefully you get a couple of wins before that because you'll be losing to us.
Oh, fighting talk on the Gog Pod. I hope you're wrong. But yeah, so I'm absolutely buzzing as well. Fixtures are back, but I mean, you never know when we're actually going to be allowed in the stands. So I'm still a bit tentative about games because there are some games in August, like for example, we're at Celtic Park on the 29th of August. Hopefully, there's no one in the stands there because it's a bit of a leveler, in my opinion. And but of course, we've got Aki's at home the week before. It's the derby, so it's a bit nip and tuck about where we're wanting the sort of games to be played. I'm going to talk to you about your professional career. I'm sure you'll have a lot of people that's wanting to hear about that. So before your first professional contract with Bournemouth, you combined your semi-professional career with installing double glazing windows for a group in Reading.
Yeah.
So was it an easy decision to pick the cherries over fitting windows?
Most definitely, you know, but it was a great experience for me. You know, I think if anyone can get into professional football, if you're guaranteed to do it, I think that's the best way. You know, it keeps your feet firmly on the ground. You know, getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning and working through till 4:30, 5 o'clock, and then, you know, grabbing some food in your car before. For me, I was driving up to London to train with my team, which is probably an hour away from my house. You know, so people talk about long days now in professional football, and they're not long days. You know, I've been on the receiving end of long days, and I think it's just such a great thing for any young player to go through. But no, it wasn't a difficult decision to pick the Cherries over that. You know, I did that, and I did my apprenticeship, let's say, through doing that. But no, I was delighted to get a professional contract.
So it was a great window of opportunity for yourself.
You've been lining that one up, have you?
I've been writing down me puns. I was thinking that during my research, I thought, right, there's got to be something funny I've got to put in here.
You got it. So,
of course, you played for the likes of Burnham, Hayes, Didcot Town, and the sort of lower regions of English non-league football. I'm not going to say what is the biggest dump you've played at, but what is the most characteristic ground you'd say you've had an experience at?
Well, I played for a team called Henley Town, and kind of our home pitch. That was right at the start, you know, from kind of like under 17s. I think it was under 18s.
Wikipedia does not have that.
Yeah, no, that was probably just before, you know, that they started listing what I was doing. But our home stadium, let's call it that, was basically a pitch with a metal railing around the outside of it.
All right.
So for me, that was a bit of an eye opener.
Yeah, I've got a local park where I stay. That's exactly like that for the local amateur team.
Yeah, exactly. So that was the same for me. That was my home pitch, and you know, when I used to walk out there and walk, you know, through those metal railings, I was thinking, oh, here I am, I've made it. I'm the man. But I look back at it.
It's not quite the same as playing at Ibrox in front of a full house, though, is it?
Yeah, exactly.
Or Fir Park, should I say?
No, Fir Park. It's probably the same as Henley Fir Park.
Has Scottish football been anything you expected before you signed for Hibs?
Do you know what? I didn't really have a view on Scottish football. Obviously, you know, down the road, it's people talk down about Scottish football without watching it, without ever played in it, because it just seemed the thing to do. But I didn't really have an opinion on the game. You know, a few people said to me that, you know, it might go and be easy, but these people had never watched it or played in the game, so I took it with a pinch of salt. You know, whenever I speak about coming from England to Scotland, I always say I'm the sort of player that gives 100%. So I didn't really find that much of a difference. You know, I just gave my all in games, but I think people have been surprised, especially recently, with the standard of players that have probably gone down from Scotland to England. And you know, the reputation of the game is definitely going up in England. Not that we care, but
no,
it definitely is going up.
If you made a five-a-side team with players you've played alongside in your career, who'd be in it and why? Wow.
In goal, I'm going to go Lee Grant.
Right.
Played with him at Burnley. Unbelievable. You know, I wasn't surprised to see him go on to Stoke. And now obviously at Manchester United, you know, player of the year at Stoke. And he was a fantastic goalkeeper. The only thing annoying about Lee was when we used to do the yo-yo test, you know, you always look for the goalkeeper and say, right, once the goalkeeper drops out, then I can drop out. And I remember the first one I did with him, and he ended up coming third because he was the guy's an athlete. Yeah, absolute athlete. So he'll be in goal. Great shot stopper, great guy. He'll be in goal for me.
While we're on the verge of the fitness tests, what was your bleep test score when you got back?
This time we don't do the bleep test. So what we did, we did the 5K runs. Well, it was 2 5K runs. I say it was a 10K run on a Saturday. 5K there to warm up, and then 5K back. You know, so in the summer when the boys were doing it individually, they're all getting these flying times and, you know, record breakers. Then old Bartley steps up on Saturday. I came third, so you know my times in the summer weren't that great, but you know obviously we came back and I'm top 3. So yeah, exactly. I think a few of the lads are doing it on their bikes, but yeah. So, but yeah, I used to be good at the yo-yo and bleep tests. I used to do it with Stephen Thompson, who does the BBC now.
Oh yeah,
and he was good at it. But yeah, I used to be decent. So yeah, Lee Grant in goal. My back two defenders, Kieran Trippier. Such a great play. You know,
now he's at Atletico, killing it.
Yeah, exactly. See, Madrid.
It's always strange when whenever I do like a podcast with someone and then they bring out a name like Kieran Trippier. He's scored a goal at the World Cup semi-final. Yeah, and I'm just sitting thinking like, that is mad. That, but you got a wee contact for him. We can get him on the Gog pod.
I'll send him a message. To see what. Oh, trips! But he was. Obviously, he came from Man City to Burnley. A lot of people were saying, why are you leaving Man City? Because everyone believed he would get a chance. So he said, I want to play first team football. Fair play to him. And, not only was he brilliant in games, in and around the training ground, always did extra, great mentality. And it's no surprise to see him play at the top of the game now. So he'll be in defence. And I'm trying to think, my other defender, a guy called Jason Pearce, current Charlton captain.
All right.
I played with him at Bournemouth, played for Portsmouth and been captain Leeds United. And he's a 100%er. He's very much like myself. A really good footballer. He reminds me of John Terry, basically. He's that sort of player. He'll throw his head in front of everything. A really, really
reputation with the ladies as well.
That's one thing he doesn't have. But he wasn't blessed with looks. I think he took too many balls to the face at a young age. So, but he's a fantastic.
Better watch that for context, boys.
I'm about to say that didn't go down too well, did it? But no, he's a fantastic player. He gives everything. My midfielder, John McGinn. All round, brilliant midfielder. Gets that big butt in the way. Does everything. Does the ugly side of the game. Can spray passes around, dribble. Complete midfielder. And again, you have to be a good guy to get in my team. It's not about being a footballer. And John.
I completely agree. Like whenever someone asks me who's my favourite Motherwell player, I'm like, it's not always about who they play. It's also if they ever come up to say hello to me or something like that.
Yeah.
Because for example, when we had Louis Moult in our team, I spoke to him at our it was a sort of end of year award ceremony, and he said, "Oh, you're that guy that does videos, aren't you?" I was like, "Right, yeah, I've made it." That's the sort of cool thing about it.
Yeah, no, exactly. So being a good guy, is first and foremost, and being a footballer is secondary. But no, he's, as I said, a fantastic player, doing really, really well. My front two, Danny Ings. Is going to be one of them. Yeah. Again, he's a player who's had his injuries and, probably thought that his chance, in the Premier League was probably done when he left Liverpool, for all the injuries he had. And, when Klopp speaks about somebody the way he speaks about Danny and says, he'd just been unlucky, would have had him here, for the rest of his career if he wanted it, but he wants to play first team football. Gone to Southampton, been brilliant. We'll get England call up when the internationals come back round. So he's one striker. And Charlie Austin's the other.
Oh, man.
Yeah, Charlie Austin is the best finisher that I've played with. Absolutely brilliant. You look at him and you think, what is this guy? Like, he comes across... He's one of them, like, if your mate brought him down to the five-a-sides on a Sunday, who's this guy? Like, and but he can just finish, just has a knack of scoring goals and great knack of scoring goals. So
is he that sort of maverick that turns up with a bottle of water, but it's actually vodka?
It wouldn't surprise me with Charlie. It really wouldn't. He's honestly, he's the most down to earth guy ever. Honestly, brilliant guy.
Yeah, I've seen in some of his interviews, like for example, that time that he went viral because of his rant about the Premier League, etc. I was like, yes, I completely rate him, because sometimes when you see footballers and you think they're good and then they're really timid in an interview, but he's not. He'll wear his heart on his sleeve, and that's what I really rate about someone that can do that.
Yeah, he has no filter. He has no filter at all. And he's one of them, if you go into war, he's one of them you want in the trenches with you, because he won't leave you behind. But as I said, fantastic finisher, great in the air. So he'd be the second striker. And obviously I'll be the gaffer, so we'll win the league.
Of course. Oh, fantastic. So who's been your most difficult opponent to mark on the pitch?
Callum McGregor. I speak about him. If anyone ever asks me about, someone I played against or someone who's been really, really good up here, it would definitely be him. I think he's the best all-round midfielder that we have in the Scottish Premier League. I think he's absolutely fantastic. Goes about his business. He's not on the pitch. He's not arrogant. He just doesn't talk himself up. He just goes about his game, and he's absolutely brilliant. But I did play against somebody in England, Abdul Tarat. And he almost ended my career, because he was unbelievable. Honestly, I think I came off that pitch with 2 hernias, because he was twisting and turning, and I was trying to follow him, and I was always like 3 seconds behind. And I was just like, what is going on here? Like, he's so strong, he's so good on the ball, but he just didn't pass. Just refused to. If he passed the ball, I think Harry Redknapp said in an interview, if he would pass the ball when he should, he'd be at Barcelona. And he was that good. but he just needed his own football. He just wouldn't pass.
He's genuinely one of the best players to ever play in that English Championship, in my opinion.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
He's definitely Premiership quality, even now when he's at Benfica.
Yeah. Yeah, no, exactly. Well, people talk about him and say, "Oh, what a wasted talent." And he's played at AC Milan, Benfica, and people are saying he's wasted his talent. That just shows you how good the guy is. He's really done.
Absolutely. So, of course, you were part of that historical Hibernian Scottish Cup win back in 2016. Do you have any mad stories from the night out?
Yeah.
Anything that you can say, that is.
Yeah. I don't know if it wasn't that night out. It was the next day or maybe 2 days after. So obviously we'd all been out on it, drinking and whatever else. We did the parade the following day. Lads carried on drinking. We were all out. And I remember, I don't know what happened. I remember I was in town, but I was driving because obviously it was a few days after. And I was driving. I think I'd been in contact with Boiler, and then I couldn't. We lost contact, and I was like, he was still out. So I was like, oh, here we go. So I remember going to town, driving along, like George Street, and there was someone in the doorway, just sprawled out like this on their back. And I'm like, that's Boiler. That is going to be Boiler, isn't it? So I go up, turn around, come back down like the kind of a one-way system. Who is it? Boiler. There he is, on his back, like. He still had his suit on as well from the cup final. He still had his suit on. Like, I was just like, what a guy. What a guy. So he definitely enjoyed it. And there was a picture as well of, I can't remember what player it was. And I genuinely mean I can't remember what player it was, but they woke up in a skip. So I remember the following day they sent a picture into the group and they're like, lads, look where I woke up, and they're in a skip, man. I was like, oh, wow, brilliant.
That's how I would want to be remembered. If I was getting let go by a club after a Scottish Cup win, that's how I'd want to be remembered.
Exactly. Brilliant time.
So, of course, the usual thing is after you win a cup, you're put into the Europa League playoffs. When you were preparing for games like this, was there any additional preparation required, or is it just a similar routine to, like, for example, when you're playing your St Mirren or Hamilton or teams like that?
It is similar. You probably go a little bit more in depth because, like you say, your St Mirrens and your Hamiltons, you're used to playing them, 2, 3, 4 times a season. So it is a little bit more in depth when you do play in Europe. And also one thing that we were told to look out for, obviously Neil Lennon had experience of it, was the referees. Obviously the Scottish game, everyone knows, is extremely physical. In Europe, if you go past somebody and you fart, they're on the floor. So we're kind of made aware of that. But no, it was similar, and we were just trying to impose ourselves on the teams we played. We got a couple of tough draws, to be honest. And I'll never forget, I remember we conceded a goal quite early on. Otso, the goalkeeper, we had a Finnish goalkeeper called Otso. Who
that was against Brøndby.
Yeah. And I remember the guy shot. Literally, it was the softest shot ever. And we all turned, away because we believed he was going to gather the ball and we were all going to move up the pitch. We had a little ripple and we were like, what's going on here? Turned around, the ball was in the net. So I think Otso forgot to put his hands on that day. And it wouldn't take a rocket scientist to work out. It didn't last much longer.
Oh yeah, because it's a shame because I believe you won the second leg and then ended up going out in penalties. Yeah,
we did. We went there, and what a stadium that was, and what a night that was. We gave it everything. We got back into the game, and it went to a penalty shootout, and unfortunately we lost. But what an experience, As I say, speaking to you and saying I was playing at Henley Town and whatever else, to playing in Europe.
Yeah.
A fantastic experience.
It's such a great journey for yourself. So I also had a flick through YouTube, watching some of your other games in the following season, because you also got to Europe through that. And I mean, what a crazy game that team from the Faroe Islands you played. The 6-4 against Runavík.
Yeah, well, I was speaking about this. This is crazy. Just the other day, I was speaking about it because obviously I play with Effie again now.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget what happened. So we trained on the pitch the day before the match, and we were doing crossing and defending, and then / crossing and finishing. So it's crossing and defending first. And Effie Ambrose went to clear the ball with the wrong foot. So I can't remember which way it's coming in. And maybe it was coming across from, he's facing our goal. It's coming across from their right, our left. And instead of going with his left foot to ease the ball out, he's going with his right foot.
And
so Neil Lennon
slices it in his own net.
Yeah, he's gone berserk. So he sliced it into the net, scored an own goal the night before when we were training. So Neil Lennon's like, "You're going with the wrong foot, Effie. Like, what are you doing?" Okay, sorry, Gaffer. What happens the next day?
Same thing.
Same happens. Goes with the wrong foot, scores an own goal, and it's just like, wow, like Lennon just lost it, and the fog came over there. But no, that was a crazy game. For a moment, I thought, oh no, we're going to chuck this away.
But I must admit, that was the first season that I think it was the first season I was actually legal to bet, and you were 2-0 down in the Faroe Islands. I thought, nah, Hibs have got to come back here. So I ended up whacking a tenner on Hibs to turn the game around. It must have been like 70 or 80 quid that I got back from it.
Happy days, man.
It was absolutely beautiful. I mean, I hadn't celebrated a team that's not Motherwell in Europe so much since.
Oh, brilliant!
But of course, you ended up later on that campaign. You ended up coming up against a certain Erling Haaland for Mold. I see the disappointment in your face.
Wow, honestly, because he had the reputation at this point, as a great young player. And you thought, how good can this guy be? I think he was, maybe, what was he, 17 at the time?
Aye.
And honestly, you saw him kind of looking at him in the warm-up, and he was just like, we were like, oh, we can deal with him. He's fine. He's a kid. But what a player. He was unbelievable. And I remember coming off the pitch after playing against them. There's some other great players as well. Solskjaer had a lot of ex-Man United players there. There's some really good technical players, a really, really good team. And I came off and I spoke to somebody who's a manager in the Premier League down in England. And I was like, sign this boy. I was like, I'm telling you now, sign him. And I think that the fee would have been maybe around 3 million at that time. Because they knew of him, but they just wanted, I said, listen, sign him 100%, take him. And I think I'm an ahhing about it, and the rest is kind of history. Because look what he's going to do now. So
boy's now worth multi-million pounds.
Exactly, he was honestly unbelievable. To think he was such a kid. That he's still a kid now, but frighteningly good.
I mean, I think I'm older than him, and look what I'm doing right now. I'm sitting, spending too much money on a microphone, 2 laptops, webcam. But I mean, it's all about fun anyway, isn't it?
Exactly, as long as you're enjoying yourself. Pal.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Speaking to professional footballers, aye, absolutely. Playing FIFA with Tony Watt and Declan Gallagher at times. That's what my life's going to. When you made the switch to Livingston last year, had you noticed any change in your game, considering, because of course at Hibs it's still a grass pitch, whereas at Livingston there's the AstroTurf. Have you sort of changed the way you play to suit that?
No, I had to adapt. In terms of my actual body and kind of my recovery and stuff. My first couple of weeks of playing on the AstroTurf were tough. I didn't, I felt everything, every ache and pain that you could possibly think of. But in terms of my game, no, I haven't really had to adapt. Maybe don't slide as much because, I don't want the pellets to end up in my cycling shorts. But no, you don't really have to adapt too much. You just have to get used to the AstroTurf. It plays a lot different to a grass pitch. But, I got used to it pretty quickly. Now I thoroughly enjoy it.
Have you ever come up against a team and you've just seen a player that you've noticed from your past career, say when you've played down south, and you're thinking, how the hell did he get here?
That happens a lot. It really does. You play against somebody and then you think, right, he'll be out of the game in a year's time. And then it's not even just playing against them again. You're watching the TV and you're like, this guy's coming on in the Premier League, or this guy, and you're like, wow, shows how much I know. That happens an awful lot. There's a great deal of luck in this game. Don't get me wrong, it's a very, very difficult profession. I would never play that down, but there was a fair amount of luck. And yeah, you do look sometimes, and then you find out like someone's uncle or someone's flipping granddad's like the CEO of somewhere, or the chairman of somewhere, or you know, you can normally work out how they got to where to put it that way.
Fair enough. Hold on a second. I need to stop and restart the camera.
Yeah,
it's only got a 25-minute cap, so.
Okay, no problem.
And we're back. So previously, before the break, I've noticed a lot from, like, say on your Instagram, from during lockdown. So of course you're a sort of media personality now as well. What have you been really up to during the absence of football?
Been speaking to other professionals, you know, kind of on Instagram Live about kind of their journeys, because I think, you know, for fans, all you do is you see us on a Saturday.
Yeah.
You know, see things like this, you kind of see a different side to the player. But I just wanted to allow fans to see, you know, players do go through struggles as well. It's not all hunky-dory, and everyone's professional career is different. You know, I had a lot of academy players kind of contacting me because I'm doing coaching and stuff now, and talking about they've been released from here, or they've been told that this might not be happening. And just to know that, you know, everyone's journey is different. You know, don't be put off because you've been released from somewhere. You've got to keep going and whatever else. So yeah, I did a lot of stuff like that. You know, went into the ladies' game. You know, the Scotland national team, you know, made us all very, very proud over the last few years, in the Euros and then the World Cup. So it's fantastic to speak to them. You know, and they're pure inspiration for the up and coming generations. So I did that. Been doing some Zoom fitness stuff with some of the Livingston Reserve boys, and you know, that's been good. So yeah, just basically trying to keep busy. You know, just trying to keep doing things, and like I say, just trying to do some kind of media work.
Yeah, because I also noticed you did something with David Turnbull, and I actually recommend everyone who's a Motherwell fan that's watching this to go check that out. Links in the description. How did this sort of chance to appear on Sports Scene, like, you know, full suit, come about?
Well, I did the radio on a couple of occasions. You know,
yeah. On Off the Ball.
It was Sports. I'm not sure what the actual program's called. That's so bad.
Oft. So exposed.
Bad. Yeah, I won't be back on there again. But yeah, so I did that a couple of times. Really, really enjoyed it. That call came out of nowhere, really.
Huh?
Just you fancy doing it? You know, I thoroughly enjoyed it. And then, as I said, I played with Stephen Thompson at Burnley. A gap on the sofa came up because Jonathan Sutherland was away and Tomo was going to present. And he said to me, you know, do you fancy coming on? And I was like, yeah, you know, why not? And, you know, I always encourage people to do things outside of your comfort zone. So it made me a hypocrite if I was saying that to everybody else, you know, do things that and then I'm like, oh no, I'm not doing the radio. Oh no, I'm not doing the TV. So I went and did it as well. And as I said, I really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, because like I did student radio at college, and I thought that was sort of a great way to start developing my presenting skills, because I've always thought, well, I'm not good enough to play football professionally, so if I could talk about it professionally, then that would be just as good, in my opinion.
Exactly. And that's the important thing, isn't it? Not just to be set on one goal. You know, there's many ways to stay involved with football. What you're doing here is fantastic.
What is your opinion on, for example, fan bloggers or internet YouTubers that sort of go to football matches and make videos on them?
Do you know what? I think it's brilliant. And I'm not just saying this.
Not just because he's talking to me.
No. I find myself, you know, like, when I do have some spare time, you know, I love football. Football's my life. And I found myself watching a young boy who does the Eastleigh ones, or did the Eastleigh ones.
Oh, I am aware of him, yes.
Yeah. So I just found it on YouTube one day, and I watched a few of his, and it was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. It gives you a different insight, you know, the excitement of going to games, and, you know, they're talking what they think the score is going to be in the predictions. And it just, as I said, showed a different side to football, and I really, really enjoyed it. You know, and that's a team I don't support. I've got no affiliation with, but I just really enjoyed, you know, the young lads speaking about football.
Yeah, because, I mean, football's just one language at the end of the day, isn't it?
No, exactly. It's a universal language.
I do believe you've also been working on your coaching badges, as you've said, throughout lockdown. How far have you got so far with it?
So I'm just doing my UEFA A
All
at
right.
this moment in time with the SFA, and the SFA have been fantastic. You know, they put on some fantastic courses. You know, have people coming from all around the world, South Africa, the Caribbean, and everything else to you know get on these courses. That's how good they are. So I've just started doing my UEFA A with them. You know, the first part obviously via Zoom due to the lockdown and whatever else. And I hope to have that finished by the end of the season. And I'm also doing my UEFA Youth Elite, which I start at the end of this month, which is kind of the highest coaching badge you can have within youth football. So I'm also doing that with the SFA. So I'm really looking forward to it. It's a lot of work, but you know, it's work I enjoy.
So you are properly set up for when you eventually hang up the boots.
Hopefully, you know, as I always talk about, I want to be as best prepared as I possibly can. I want to go into it with all eyes open. I did a football management course at Napier University as well last season.
Oh, yeah.
Current professionals and ex-professional footballers on it as well. Brilliant course. And yeah, I just want to be, you know, as I say, knowledge is power, isn't it? So that's kind of the route I'm going down, and you know, I just want to keep learning.
Because I know for a fact, well, this doesn't really compare to yourself, but when I was at school, I was doing sports leadership in my final year, and we got to go to the college across the road, and we did I completed my early touches 1.1, which is a bit minuscule compared to your
It's the start of the ladder,
big fish. But it's a start. But yeah, I got my 1.1, and it was great. I just got to play football all day. I mean, skive off school and play football. It's a kid's dream.
That's the thing. When you're on the courses, you have to be the runners. So whenever boys are putting on the coaching sessions or ladies are putting on the coaching sessions, you're actually the players within it. So it's actually harder than training because you're constantly on the move and doing sessions.
That was one of many times I just had to sit down and have a break for 10 minutes, and I wasn't actually doing higher PE. But of course, I also did the first sort of stage of refereeing at the age of 16 as well. I think it's grade 7, which was quite an eye-opener because, well, for a start, now I can actually properly analyse a game of football, because before I was just one of those fans with like tinted specs, and I would just like call every decision Motherwell's way. But but now whenever I sit and watch a game, I'm thinking what's going to happen in the next 5 seconds, and even though I'm never refereeing anymore because I had to give up because I just didn't like refereeing Sunday league matches. I just thought, what's going to happen here? Or is there going to be a foul or a throw, or just counting how many touches until it's going to be a decision I have to make? Because I remember one game. This was actually my first game I refereed. It was an 8-goal thriller. It was like 6-2, and I gave 2 penalties, and I nearly sent someone off in my first game.
Oh wow! I'm glad you're not in the Premier League. Wow.
Oh no! Like Rangers fans would write a petition to get me out of it, because this kid he came up to me, he was giving me a look, and I pulled out my book, and his mum was standing on the sidelines shouting, "Don't you effing dare, ref!" And,
wow!
And I said, so I just gave him a warning and said, "See this book? Next time you talk to me, you're going in it."
Yeah, no, exactly. Did he stop?
Oh yeah, he stopped right away. He almost asked to be substituted as well.
Oh, okay. Lesson then. At least he learned his lesson.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you got to sort of lay the law when it comes to the wee ones, because they've got to sort of learn how to sort of talk to the officials.
Exactly.
So, would you say? Like, I don't know how much of a gamer you are, because of course we did play pro clubs a couple of times together. Has your experience from playing Football Manager helped you at all with your coaching badges?
It's given me definitely the hunger to want to go into management, want to go into coaching. I know it's totally different, But still now,
Yeah.
I still play Football Manager. You know, I'm on there quite often whenever I have kind of the time.
Yeah.
So definitely, you know, being a manager one day that's the dream. That's the dream. But until I can realise that dream, then Football Manager will have to do. And you know, I really, really enjoy. That's my favourite game. I love it. I love playing. Yeah, obviously the time flies, but
definitely.
I love playing it. I love playing it, and it definitely.
Well, I have to get a game sorted one time. You know.
Yeah, definitely.
When you're not playing golf.
Yeah. Started that now as well.
Oh yeah. So, do you have any mad Football Manager stories?
Not really. One weird thing is I've never won the top league outside of England. That's not really.
Ooh.
But I've just never. Yeah, I've just.
Stat.
Yeah, it's never happened for me, mate. Never happened.
I've recently just started a challenge because of lockdown. I started a challenge of trying to win a trophy in every European country.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so I've downloaded all the mods for like San Marino, Malta, Andorra, and I almost went undefeated in my first season in San Marino. So I've already won the league in there. So I'm on to the next country, which is the Faroe Islands. Big up the Faroes.
Pick that team that we played in Europe.
Oh yeah, no, they're far better than the team I'm at. So now we're at the make or break round of the podcast. This is where the upper echelons questions are asked, and everyone loves answering these questions. They're very in depth, and I'm requiring a lot of words here. So, picture the scene. You're standing in the pick and mix aisle of a sweet shop. You can only pick 3 sweets to put in your bag. What do you choose and why?
First pick is going to be the fizzy cola bottles, but the blue and red ones.
Yes. Jordan White said that he loves them.
Game changers, them.
Yeah.
Absolutely unbelievable. I'm going for them first and foremost.
I completely agree.
Second, if I can get the cherry Haribo out of the Tantastics, they're amazing.
Oh, Lammy loves them, yeah.
Amazing. So I've gone for 2 sugary ones. And then my third, I'm going to go for bonbons because they're...
Oh, yes.
I'm going to go for them. Just because I need something that's going to last a bit longer, because if I have too many of the soft ones and you chew them in like 10 seconds, I'm going to be skint because I'm at Livingston. I don't get paid enough. So...
Can I hold you for a second? I'll be back in a minute.
Of course.
Right, I'm back. Hold on a sec. Right, as soon as you said bonbons, right, I have a thing that whenever I'm editing a video or a match day vlog, I have to have a sweet to chew on during the editing process. And my gran got me for my 21st birthday a packet of strawberry bonbons.
Oh, you gotta love her.
Oh, that was brilliant.
Absolutely brilliant. There you go, see?
Yeah.
It was meant to be.
I completely, absolutely appreciate that. So, I actually think you're top of the league table with sweets.
Quality.
Oh, I'm out of breath from that run. Right, so the next make or break question is, you're featuring on a series of Come Dine With Me. Which other 3 characters in Scottish football would you choose to share the table with?
Oh, 3 characters. Neil Lennon.
Oh,
has to be Neil Lennon. Steven Gerrard.
Interesting.
I'm gonna throw those 2 in there together.
So the Celtic and Rangers manager.
Yeah. And who would be the last one? Oh, it's a toss-up between Nathan Ring, who's a physio at Hibs, and Graham Mathie, who's a new head of football.
Oh.
Let's go Nathan Ring, because he'd just be so awkward around Lennon and Gerrard arguing. He just wouldn't enjoy it. So they're my 3.
You 2 would be the sort of intellectuals out of that.
Do you know what? Lennon's like so intelligent, by the way.
I can imagine so.
If you're doing a quiz, like, and you're stuck on any question, he's a man. Like, his knowledge is unbelievable. Really? Yeah, unbelievable, honestly.
That sort of
Really.
changed my perception, because all I remember of Neil Lennon whenever I think about him is his sort of aeroplane against Rangers. Which is that's my favourite Neil Lennon moment.
Yeah, that was brilliant.
What's your favourite Neil Lennon moment?
There were so many. Do you know what? He gave us a speech one evening. We were playing against Hearts, and honestly, it was, if it could have been recorded and bottled up, you just sold it for a fortune. Genuinely, he had you believing that you could go out there and run through brick walls. The best speech or pre-match, talk that any manager's ever given. It was almost in tears. It was emotional. But no, it was brilliant. That's my best moment of him. I'll never forget that talk.
My favourite gaffer talk that I've had. Right, I was playing boys club. I was 16 years old, I think. We were playing. It was Leaving Boys. That's the team that I played for at the time. We were playing against some team in the Scottish Cup, and the one of the coaches, we called him Father Gavin, because he was the guy with the wise words, and we got a team huddle just round everyone, and he just said, "Ready, boys, let's get into this shite," and he just walked off.
Oh, cheers, Gaffer.
Cheers, Gaffer. that was Father Gavin. Just shout out to you, man. But that was my favourite pre-match speech. We ended up getting thumped in the next game, I think. So
it didn't work then.
What?
Oh, it didn't work. The talk didn't work.
It didn't work, but I mean, it inspired the boys, and I mean, you got to give them credit for that. So, before we round off today's episode, I would like you to nominate a player from your career, past or present, to feature in the next episode.
Ooh. Nominate a player.
And you've also got to tag him on Instagram for this as well, so you get some message.
Let's go. Do you know who I want to see on here? I want to see John Guthrie on here.
John Guthrie?
Yeah. Livingston centre half. Just the reason I want to see John on here is because when Livingston signed him, and it just shows you social media knows nothing. I never forget, like, the Walsall fans were hammering him. Obviously, he'd been relegated there, whatever else. And then some guy wrote on there, "Oh, he's awful. Good luck with him." It ended up being, well, he's been so far absolutely a rock at the back. But yeah, John Guthrie.
I know he's a good player, because I'm thinking of doing a sort of video where it's like a team of the year, but without any Old Firm players, because you may have seen the social media posts about 8 Celtic players and 3 Rangers players. I'm like, as a non-Old Firm fan, I do not want to see that. So
that was, wasn't it? It was a bit crazy, that.
Yeah, it was a bit crazy. A bit of a popularity contest at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Yeah.
But he would be in my team of the year if it wasn't any Old Firm players.
Yeah.
So I've asked you a whole host of questions. It's your turn to ask me a question.
Okay.
Turning the tables.
Right. You can only pick one player to stay at your club. Tony Watt?
Or Declan Gallagher, isn't it?
Declan Gallagher or Ricky Lambie?
Oh, I would have to say...
That's the first question. That's the first question.
That's the first question? Oof. Double barrel. Superb. I would have to say, just for the fact he's been at the club longer and the fact he's done so well to get a Scotland call-up, it's Declan Gallagher.
Oh, so you've been off Tony Watt and Ricky Lambie. Lambie's not even played a game and you've written them off already. Okay.
No,
No, you've given your answer. No more on that. Second question. Out of our Twitter group,
right,
the pro clubs, who is the worst professional footballer within it?
Martin Boyle, without a shadow of a doubt. When he went in goals, I was on the edge. I just could not believe it.
Boiler, man.
The fact he went Rab Douglas and
he was giving it the big one as well, and then he was
giving the big one.
Horrific.
And then to top it off, he calls my accent shite.
You gotta love him.
Oh,
Go on.
definitely. It's great, but he's got great power. I'd love to have him on
Yeah.
here as well. But
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure with his experience of me, he probably wouldn't.
Yeah, he'll be avoiding you.
I was just that guy that turned up with the trainers. But yeah, thank you very much for coming on, Marv. Really appreciate it.
Enjoyed it, mate.
But I'll get everything forwarded to you once I've finished editing this. But I've really enjoyed this. Has been one of my best podcasts.
No, it's been brilliant, mate. Honestly, it has. I'm glad you picked Declan Gallagher over Tony and Lammy, so they're going to be heartbroken now. Perfect.
I mean, Declan Gallagher's hopefully going to be on this next week as well. So.
Oh, top stuff.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
I thought you said it then. You're keeping him sweet. I know exactly what you did.
I must say.
I like the style. I like the style.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's podcast. Thank you very much to Marvin for coming on, and we'll see you in the next one. There we go. That's that done.
Great stuff. That was brilliant.
But I mean, at least you've got a decent lockdown haircut to go with this show. So,
well, I'm getting a cut tomorrow. We've got our photo shoot on Thursday for our new kit launch. So I've got someone coming out to try and tidy it up because it's a nightmare, mate. I'm just working the angles at the moment.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Got a bit of a Wolverine thing going on here. You know, it's not the best, mate. It's not the best. So
I mean, it could be so much worse. I mean, look at my haircut.
Interesting. Different.
It's 15 weeks in the making.
That's like me. You know, I was due to get my haircut the Monday, like the first Monday of lockdown. So it's been an absolute nightmare, but we're getting to the end now, so it's all good.
Fair enough. But once again, I think I'll let you go and enjoy the rest of your evening.
The Arsenal game. No problem.
The Arsenal game, aye. But yeah, thank you very much, mate, and I'll hopefully talk to you again very soon.
No, definitely, mate. Take it easy, Gogs.
Right, you too, mate. See you later.